Warning, the following video may contain adult language and themes. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you have a problem with it, stop playing this video now. Okay, I just got done watching the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. Yes, if you are a YouTuber and are into video games at all, or even if you're not, you know who the Angry Video Game Nerd is probably. You've probably seen one of his videos. YouTube corporate has probably shoved one in your face at one point or another, and you watch one by accident or not. And this whole Angry Video Game Nerd phenomenon, let me just first give you a summation. It's basically this kid who started reviewing old shitty games, like 8-bit, 16-bit, some 32-bit games, and he reviewed them basically by overacting horribly, mugging at the camera, reading like almost directly from a script. It's very scripted. He cusses about the game. He complains about the game. He destroys the game and with like these really cheap, shitty special effects. Like he'll blow up the video game, or he'll like pull down his pants and shit all over the video game, and he'll go like, "Wow, this is a shitload of fuck," and like, "Cowabunga piece of dog shit," you know. And he reviewed like Ninja Turtles on the NES. He reviewed like, what else did he review? I don't remember. You know, I stopped following him a long time ago. To me, I thought he was sort of entertaining. Like he was sort of like his videos. I watched a lot of them back in the day, and like I don't know when I stopped. I can't even remember. I haven't followed this guy in years, but he always kind of made me chuckle a little. He wasn't really that funny. He was sort of like just a chuckle. That's all he got out of me most of the time. He reviewed like Wizard of Oz on the SNES. And shit like that. And I just stopped following him because his shit kind of got old. He'd do this. What I remember, I don't know if he changed it up, but what I remember, he'd do the same thing every episode. He'd play the game. He'd say, "Oh, this is a piece of shit," you know, and he'd blow up the game. He'd have like a cameo from one of the characters. Like he'd get one of his stupid like high school friends. Like I think some of the people who made the videos with him were like his friend from high school, Mike Matei, and like Kevin Finn, and they'd like dress up in these costumes and guest star on his show. Like I think like the Lion from Wizard of Oz came. He's like, "Yeah, put him up." He had like this friend dress up as the Lion. It got way out of hand, and like he started merchandising, and he basically became one of the big wigs on YouTube and started the whole video game reviewing craze. He spawned like endless ripoffs, like the Irate Gamer, the Game Dude, etc. Like all these other fucking people were trying to imitate him. And if you started reviewing video games on the YouTube, you know, you were instantly called a ripoff. I just got tired of his shtick. I never really hated him, but he kind of got old after a while. And there was this whole scandal where he was trying to raise money for like to like get this unreleased NES game, like I think it was Cheetah Men made or something, and he like scammed a whole bunch of people out of their money, and or maybe he didn't do it, but he was like vouching for somebody he knew who was trying to do that, and it ended up being this whole debacle. I stopped following him and his friend. Like this guy, I think this guy's like 28 years old, 29, maybe 30 or something like that, and he's basically we got to know him through his videos throughout his career, and he put videos out like showcasing all the films he did when he was a kid, when he was a student. I think he went to film school or something, and they're just like these really bad, you know, homemade VHS movies. We got to know him. He's like a hoarder. He has like all these VHS tapes and all these laser discs and all this old technology in his house, and he's just like this man child almost. And it kind of I stopped watching him because it's kind of weird. Like, and his friend Mike Matei from high school still comes over, and like he was over at his house one time in his pajama bottoms. I don't know. He's just like the epitome of just this weird ass motherfucker who like just got the golden touch from YouTube and basically became a god. Like and so it turns out he was making this movie. And there's this whole controversy behind it too. He was like, "Oh, I made this script." You know, this whole video game reviewing thing, this craze that caught on. Originally, he wanted to become like a director and make movies, but he just did this supposedly as a side project. You know, this game reviews, and they caught like wildfire caught on. And so he started writing a script around this angry video game nerd character to make a movie to start his film career. And obviously, he made it about the AVGN, angry video game nerd, his character, because he couldn't make something on his own. People don't care about his other works, basically. They just care about, from what I gather, his AVGN character. And so he came out that he was going to make this movie, and he started fundraising for it. And basically, he raised like $400,000 or some shit like that. People were just like giving him money left and right. And there was this trailer released, and it looked like shit. And it was just ridiculous because this guy was getting so much freaking money for free. He basically made the movie for free, is my understanding. He didn't have to pay for a cent of it. He hired all these Z-grade actors and actresses. And this movie took forever to come out. I think, wasn't he talking about this movie back in like 2010, 2011? I can't even remember. I'm not going to go research this guy either because there's a whole backstory about this guy. Basically, his movie came out, and this guy's got fanboys up the ass. Like, his fanboys are ridiculous. Like, they get on everybody's page. If you review a video game, you more than likely online, you've more than likely been called an AVGN ripoff. His fanboys are ridiculous, and I don't know if they're endorsed by him or not, or if he probably doesn't have anything to do with them, but I just got done watching the movie, finally. It came out, I believe, this month, and it's pretty bad. It sucks. It's probably, I know this is cliche to say, but it's probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Movies like The Room and Birdemic are so bad they're good. This movie's just so bad, it sucks. Like, I really don't know what angle he was going for with this movie. Let me first start off by saying the special effects are terrible. They are terrible. And I know they're probably supposed to be that way. You know, it's probably like, oh, we did it on purpose. They're supposed to be terrible. And so, that's fine and good. But then, throughout this movie, like, what is this movie supposed to make you feel? Like, is it supposed to be a comedy? Because I didn't laugh once. I didn't laugh once. In fact, I chuckled once throughout the whole movie, and it was a joke where, like, they're looking for, like, this guy has all these security cameras in his house, and they're like, well, where did the girl go? And, like, basically the premise is, I should give you the premise. AVGN basically goes out to the Nevada desert to look for the buried ET cartridges so he can review it, and, like, this girl goes along with him, plus his token black sidekick, and weird note, by the way, I don't think a black person has ever been in one of his, I've never seen a black person in any of his reviews. So that's kind of weird that it seems like he almost purposely went out and got a black person to be in his movie. But anyway, so they go out to the desert, and they look for the cart or the ET cartridge, and like the military gets involved because there's some conspiracy where like a UFO crashed and they like somebody stole the pieces of the UFO and put them in all the ET cartridges, and so the military comes in and like, what are you doing here? And they like start chasing the AVGN around, and the AVGN goes to Area 51, rescues the fucking alien. It's all fucking stupid, childish bullshit, and the special effects are terrible. The only time I laughed in this movie, like I said, is like the AVGN, this girl and his black sidekick go to this guy's house who's like this conspiracy theorist nut, and he's got all these cameras in his house, and the girl goes missing, and they're like, well, maybe she's outside, and he turns on his cameras, and they can see all outside. He's like, nope, she's not out there, and he's like, well, maybe she went down in the basement, and he like presses the button, the cameras turn on, and there's no one in the basement. He's like, nope, not there, and he's like, well, maybe she's taking a shower, and he's like, presses the button, turns on camera, he's like, nope, she's not in the shower. That sort of made me laugh, because that's the only time in this entire movie I even chuckled. I didn't even laugh, I chuckled. This movie, there's no comedy. So like, let me tell you some of the jokes. Like, the AVGN has always been about potty mouth humor in his skits, you know, in his reviews. And they're charming for like the 10 to 20 minutes he does on his little videos, but like, they don't work on this movie. Like, he pukes on a woman. Like, he gets so disgusted he just throw ups. Like, classic, like, what was that show, I can't remember that show on Nickelodeon where there's all the gack and goop and stuff. He just throws up on a woman. That's one of the jokes. That's not being funny when you're like 5 years old. That's one of the fucking jokes. I mean, this movie's just not funny at all. So it's not a comedy. And all suspense is just destroyed because the special effects are not realistic. They don't look realistic at all. They look fake as shit. So when somebody's being chased by a Jeep, or, you know, a monster's ripping up downtown Las Vegas, it's like, it looks so fake, so you don't believe it for a second. And so there's no suspense. It's not a good action movie. So like, the only possible angle I could even imagine him thinking this is a good movie is that it's so bad it's good. That's the only angle. But I think, as we've been shown by that's almost a new fad nowadays. You know, companies making movies that are so bad, they're trying to get into the so bad it's good craze. It's hard to do that on purpose. Like The Room and Birdemic, I think, were on accident. And this movie, I don't think, does it. Like, that's the only conceivable angle I could see for this movie being considered good. This is a terrible movie. It sucks. It's just, my god. And the saddest part about it is if it bombs and it doesn't sell at all, AVGN isn't going to give a fuck because you guys pretty much made the movie for him. So it's just a terrible movie. And another thing, another piece of advice for all these independent filmmakers is if you don't have an epic budget, don't try to make an epic movie because it ends up looking like shit. And you know, some of these fucking independent filmmakers who do this, you know, they realize this is like, oh shit, we kind of overreached here. So then they get into the self-parody genre where they're like, oh well, it's supposed to look like that. We're making fun of ourselves, see? So if we make something purposefully and make fun of it, something that looks shitty, then you can't make fun of us because we did it on purpose. No, it still looks like shit. Just because you purposefully made something look like shit does not absolve the fact that it looks like shit. This movie is terrible. Oh my god, like. I don't see how this kid took this movie seriously and is a student of film and thought this was good. You know, apparently I think most of the films he admired and watched when he was a kid were these shitty Z-grade zombie movies. So I guess it makes sense that he'd make something as terrible as this. But it's just terrible, people. It's a terrible movie, and you know, it's almost like he's trolling us with this movie. He's releasing something that's so terribly bad, and it's no loss to him. And he's like, "Look what I can do! You know, I'm so fucking popular. I can release shit, and people tell me it smells good. You know, it's just terrible. It's the AVGN movie. It was released in 2014. Terrible actors, terrible story. Something he just pulled straight out of his ass. Any self-respected film student, you know, anybody who's studied like the classics and knows what a good film is, will look at this and just be bored out of their skull and make fun of it and say it's a piece of shit. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, it's just a terrible movie, and maybe that's the whole point of this movie. You know, people can release. The AVGN is so well connected, you know, and has such influence that he can release shit and people will tell him it smells good. You know, maybe that's what the point of this fucking movie is, because it's terrible. It's just, oh my god, like I'm just fed up with this guy. I mean, he was okay to begin with. I want the irate gamer, who's like the arch nemesis of the AVG, and I want him to release a movie. I'd support that. Just to fucking, I mean, irate gamer. I've never really caught on to the irate gamer hate. He's okay. I mean, he's basically proved that anybody can just turn on a camera and do what AVGN does. It's pretty much the same shit. Like, the AVGN is such a talentless hack when you think about it. I mean, like, over half of his acting includes, like, overacting. It includes, like, frowning and that over-exaggerated. Like, if you were playing Cranium or something and the key word was angry, and you had to act it out so even a fucking blind person could know what you're trying to express. That's what he does most of the time. He like frowns like a fucking Muppet on Sesame Street, like one of those grumpy Muppets, and he like mugs at the camera. That's half of his acting, and it's so fucking scripted. What he does may be mildly amusing for a 10 to 20 minute sketch on the internet, but you can't, making an entire movie out of it is just retarded. Like, it's like trying to make an entire movie out of like the Lolcats or the Star Wars Kid. It just doesn't work. It may be entertaining and amusing as a viral video, but as a fucking movie. And besides, another thing I want to talk about is that there's been this like new sect of like prima donnas out there, like the Nostalgia Critic, AVGN, probably to a lesser extent Spoonie, Fred, Niga Higa, all these fucking hacks on YouTube that basically do this as a full-time job. And like, it's just ridiculous. It's almost like this middle ground between, you know, YouTube, you know, independent people who just get on here like me and just talk and don't have like a production studio and like a budget. You know, it's between that and Hollywood, where these fuckers have found like this rut where they can thrive. Because if they go over into Hollywood, they get their fucking asses chewed out. They wouldn't be able to survive at all. They're not talented enough to get to Hollywood, but they can prey on the internet crowd because they're more talented than us people who just hop on here for 5 seconds and make a video. You know what I mean? It's just this sect, this group of fucking like vultures that have just infested the internet. Like, oh my god. And you guys want to support it, fine, whatever, but oh my god. Like, Nostalgia Critic, I'm like 100% positive would not survive on network television. He just wouldn't. You know, but he can thrive on the internet though, because, you know, the standards are so low. I mean, yeah, when like a picture of a cat in a playing with a thing of yarn will get like 50 billion views, yeah, standards are pretty low, man. So, yeah, that's my take on it. It's a terrible movie. I'd probably give it like I don't know. I'm thinking like 2.5 out of 10. Terrible fucking movie. Don't fucking pay any money for it. I feel sorry for you if you fucking donated to this. Like, whatever. I mean, is that what this whole thing is? Like, AVGN's so well connected. Talk about, like, and I don't believe the whole thing where, oh, AVGN just got lucky and he's so talented and that's why he's so popular. Bullshit. People like the AVGN, Fred, Nostalgia Critic, I believe they are being truly backed by somebody else. And that their internet fame, quote unquote, is partially manufactured, in my humble opinion, because there are loads of more people, talented people. Like, I'll point you to a channel that's, his name's Leisure Suite Gaming 2, or Silent Rob, just look him up. He's fucking hilarious. And he doesn't even script it. At least I don't think he does, or at least he's very good at just going off the cuff and, just being hilarious. I mean, this guy's fucking hilarious, dude. It's like, and he doesn't even script it. He doesn't have a production studio. He doesn't have goddamn special effects other than probably Windows Movie Maker. Those are the types of people who made YouTube popular in the first place. Those are the types of people who deserve your attention. And it's just, goddamn AVGN. Like, your shit got so old so long ago. I'm not even gonna bother to look at your new shit to see if it's changed, because I really don't give a fuck. You're such a one-note actor, such a one-note director. I just don't give a fuck about you anymore. Goddamn, Jesus. And for the record, I do find Nostalgia Critic and Spoonie and Cinema Snob and those guys mildly entertaining. But it's like, we can't compete with that. People who actually do other things with their lives can't compete with that. It's not a fair playing field. These people have casts, they have production budgets. They're basically like a studio that can't hack it against the other studios, so they prey on us because we have such low standards. Anyway, that's my review. 2.5 out of 10 is a shitload of fuck. Don't watch it. Bye.